Okay, go ahead.
Can I go?
Yeah.
This is great. Stargirl.
Yes.
TV series. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Thank you.
You dropped like a bomb yesterday.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Straight to 13 episodes.
How long have you known that you're going to be working on this show?
Well, I mean, I wrote the comic. Next year it'll be 20 years. First character I ever created. It's funny, after I wrote the book, I always wanted to do a show kind of based around the book. And I said, the first thing I want to do is Stargirl. Like, that's what I want to do.
You described it as Buffy meets Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes.
That's a pretty great comparison. And you mentioned how there aren't really superhero shows set in high school.
For those who don't know, Stargirl's origin is this girl, Courtney Whitmore, lives in Los Angeles. Her mom gets remarried to this guy, Pat Dugan, and they move from LA to Nebraska, the small town called Blue Valley. And she discovers, and she does it reluctantly, and she discovers, she's a 16-year-old high school kid, discovers that her new stepdad used to be the sidekick to a superhero, was a member of the Justice Society of America, a long-lost superhero team. And she takes his partner's old equipment and becomes Stargirl, goes for a joyride, and eventually she'll inspire a brand new generation of heroes, young heroes, to take on the legacy of the Justice Society.
You're producing the show and you're writing, but are you going to be show running it and running the writers' room, or are you going to be actually be writing all the scripts?
No, I'll be running the writers' room. Yeah.
The DC streaming service, DC Universe, it's coming in big with a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
Are you going to be tying in Stargirl with any other shows? Is there a plan down the road? Or are you just saying this one?
Right now for Stargirl, like, it's really going to be its own show.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get the Stargirl show right, the Just Side characters right. We really want to focus on, for that show right now, it's going to stand alone.
How else are you involved with some of the other shows in development with DC, in particular with DC Universe?
Well, I'm exec producing and writing on Titans with Akiva Goldsman and Greg Berlanti and Greg Walker. We just wrapped our first season, which is a lot of fun. I can't wait for people to see the show. It comes out. I don't think they've announced when it comes out yet, so I think I'll get yelled at if I say exactly when.
Nah, nobody will yell at you, Jeff. Go ahead, say it. Tell us. Come on.
But I can't, right? Yeah, I can't. I just see this big no.
Kelly's no. Okay.
But people will see it soon. I'm excited about that.
Great reaction in the trailer.
Yeah, it's intense.
You're scared. I get it. But you can control it.
It was intense.
Yeah.
It was intense, and there's a certain line.
Yes.
F off, Batman.
Yeah.
That caught people's attention. You wanted to point out that it wasn't. People shouldn't look too much into that line for like the tone.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I think rightfully so, people have a strong reaction to that and discuss it because it is controversial.
Where's Batman? Go for Batman.
Right, it is a controversial line. It's controversial for Robin to say that, but I think the story behind his feelings and why he says that and where he is really, we've rooted it in the comics, the original Marv Wolfman, George Perez comics.
The definitive run.
Definitive run. It was controversial in its day, and it really pushed the envelope in terms of the drama between the characters and evolving these characters. And when we picked up Robin was like the other Titans, kind of lost because it was post-Batman.
Yep.
And he was looking for his place in the world and struggling with it. And we really pick up each one of our Titans as they're also lost and they're looking for their place in the world.
You're focused on writing and producing and creating.
Yes.
Which is you said that's what you really enjoy doing. You don't care about I think you just said somewhere. For me, writing is a vacation.
Yeah, writing is a vacation. Like, I love, like, when I get in a room with my whiteboard, that's my sweet spot.
What is the people on our side of things don't understand about the job you had as chief creative officer? Because there's so much more that goes into it than just, okay, now you get to go sit there and create. You're not really just doing that. You have to do all sorts of boring office stuff, right?
Well, it's tough. I loved the job, actually. I really love being a part of DC, and I still get to work with everybody, but I get to work with everyone in a different way. For me, I unlock the potential in the characters that I see, like Aquaman or Booster Gold or Shazam. That's what I like doing, and I felt a little bit locked up.
Hawkman?
Yeah, Hawkman.
One of your greatest runs ever.
Thank you. And I felt like I was locked up a little bit because I could never do something like Stargirl. I didn't have the time to, nor the ability to, because I was busy, working with a lot of people and giving notes instead of taking notes. And I really want to go back to what I really want to do is go back to creating stories. Mm-hmm. And I still get to work with the people I love. I just don't have to do the kind of corporate business stuff that I was never put on this planet to do.
You're writing a new Shazam book.
Yes.
That's awesome, and I think it's also great because we have the Shazam movie coming out, and I think one of the things that impacts the comic industry across the board is that you have these movies and these TV shows bringing these great characters to new audiences.
Yes.
It's a challenge.
It is.
It's a challenge to find something that's relatable to what they see.
It's a challenge when you want an accessible comic book. So doing Shazam is, there's Gary Frank and I's graphic novel Shazam, the New 52 Shazam that people can pick up, and
Very self-contained.
Very self-contained, and this will be the same thing. It's going to be very new, reader-friendly, but also expanding the mythology in a way. Like I talked about it yesterday. There's all these wonderful runs like Frank Miller did with Daredevil and Batman, and what Alan Moore did with Swamp Thing, and what Mark Waid did with Flash. And you see these characters, and they're suddenly they're bigger than they were, right? And I think we did that with Green Lantern, right, when I was on
Great example.
Or Justice Society.
Very convoluted mythology that you condense into your stories that people could pick up those trades.
Yeah, and just
that you
read
did
it.
with Ethan, and boom,
Yeah, and the same thing I think can be done with Shazam. Hasn't really had that treatment yet, and I think we'll be able to expand and unlock the mythology and the characters, but in a way that's true to the original Fawcett books, because those books have a certain whimsical charm. I said, like, if Roald Dahl was writing a superhero comic, like, what would it be? It'd be kind of crazy.
Comparison.
Yeah, and also it's not like any other book on the stands. And that's really what I wanted to do is like, and Dale Eaglesham, I worked with him on Justice Society, and we had kind of a Norman Rockwell quality to the superhero stories we told there. And then I talked to Dale, and like, okay, like at the base, our base compass is Roald Dahl, like in his best children's books, and Phantom Tollbooth and Lion Witch in the Wardrobe and Harry Potter, like, all these great books about kids that discover new worlds and magic and meet new fantastic characters, and it's got drama and stakes, but it's also a lot of fun.
You did Aquaman in the New 52. It's a big basis for the movie.
Yeah.
You co-wrote the film, you produced it. What can you tell us about the film in terms of what you wanted to bring from the comics to the screen? That's a tough character to adapt, but not as tough as I think as people should really think, because it's such a fascinating world.
Yeah,
underwater.
It is. It's in a world we've never really seen before, and it really came down to James Wan, who's an amazing director, and he got to choose any superhero film he wanted, and he said, I want Aquaman. He said, I want Aquaman. I love Aquaman. I love the world. I love Black Manta. I love the classic Aquaman. And when we started working on the story and talking about it together, it was really like his direction and his vision of how to bring it to life. Because how do you get like people riding sharks and it looks cool? Well, it looks pretty cool. Like people are going to see some stuff tomorrow.
Sea dragons.
Yeah, sea
Oh
dragons.
my gosh.
Yeah, they're awesome. But it was really his inspiration and his vision that put it on the big screen, And all I did was I had a great time on the comics. I talked about the story and the characters, but I think it's him and his team that really were able to make it real. And that's why Aquaman's so interesting, because it's different. You talk about obscure characters like Hawkman or whatever, and I'm thrilled just to see things like Aquaman coming up, and we got Shazam coming up, and now Wonder Woman's this big thing, and as where she should be, and she should have always been. It's just really exciting to see. Like, I love Batman, I love Superman, but there's a reason that I've never really written a long run on Batman or a long run on Superman. I've written stories on Superman and Batman, and I always will, but I'm drawn more towards the monthly book, towards like the obscure characters, because I feel like they haven't gotten their due yet. And I want them to have their due.
When are we going to find out why Steve Trevor's back?
When you watch Wonder Woman 1984
Had to ask.
next November.
Well done. Doomsday Clock, yet another thing you're working on. You're halfway through. How's that experience been? You're working with your longtime collaborator, Gary Frank.
Yeah, he's amazing. Right?
Incredible artist.
Yeah, I mean, he's so criminally...
Would he have done Shazam with you if he wasn't doing Doomsday Clock?
Yes.
Because I know you love working with Gary.
Yes. But it was like our the timing didn't work out because we're still halfway through Doomsday. And Doomsday Clock, it takes me, I was saying, 5 times as long to write that as any other book, and it takes Gary a long time to draw it too. So we're putting all our energy into it because, it's a little crazy to say, hey, we're going to do a story with Watchmen characters and DC characters. Like people. It was like that's not
Is
no
the specter
pressure.
of Alan Moore kind of over your shoulder sometimes when you're writing?
And
Seriously, I
everybody,
say it as a joke,
but
but
no,
yeah.
and everyone, right? Because like you're taking on something, and we did it because we believe in the story. It was more than anything else, just believe in the story. We didn't need to do it. We just thought we have a really great story, and we think we can do something special with it, and something different that's not on the stands now. That both takes cue from Watchmen, but also our world today. And issue 6 comes out next Wednesday, which is my favorite issue, like by far. I can't wait to get read. It's the origin of Mime the Marionette, and who are 2 new characters, as you know, in Doomsday Clock, and it's a pretty crazy issue. But it is also the fulcrum to the entire series, because issue 7 will change the direction of the series, and I think people's expectations of where they thought it was going to go. It's going to go in a very, very different direction.